The rapture. I'm so glad you asked. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I've been procrastinating. And after I saw your comment, I was just scrolling today and I saw some other Christian TikTokers talking about how apparently there's a lot of speculation going on that the rapture is supposed to happen this year on September 23rd. But let me tell you, as an ex-Mormon Christian who left the Mormon Church because the doctrine contradicted the Bible, specifically Jesus' words, I do not believe that the rapture is a true doctrine because of the Bible, specifically Jesus' words. So people like to reference Matthew 24 verses 36 and verse 40 in reference to the rapture and saying, we don't know the day or hour, but all of a sudden there'll be two people in the field and one of them will disappear. But the problem is they miss the verses in between. And this is Jesus speaking, and he's saying that no man knows the day or hour, and those days will be like the days of Noah. And what happened in the days of Noah? Well, everybody was eating, drinking, marrying. Everything was normal up until the day that Noah entered the ark. And then the flood came and washed away a bunch of people. But who did it wipe away? The wicked ones. And who remained on the earth? The righteous. And this is exactly what Jesus says again in Matthew chapter 13. He says the kingdom of heaven is like fishermen who gathered a whole bunch of fish into their nets and they threw out all the bad fish. And he said in verse 49, so shall it be in the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and they shall cast them into the furnace. So all the wicked will be thrown out and the righteous will remain. And he reiterates this again in the same chapter, verses 38 through 43. Jesus is explaining the parable of the wheat and the tares. And he says that, of course, the wheat are the children of the kingdom, and the seed of the tares are the children of the enemy. And before the harvest of wheat, they pluck up all the tares, they bind them up and burn them in a fire. That happens before the harvest. Verse 40 says, therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. So shall it be in the end of the world. So for a third time, Jesus is saying the wicked will be gathered together and cast out, and the righteous will remain. In verse 43, Jesus says, who has ears to hear, let him hear. He says that a lot when it's a subject that people are really getting wrong a lot. And he's like, please listen to this. I'm saying this over and over. So there you have it. The Bible doesn't say anything about all the righteous disappearing off of the face of the earth and going up into heaven. In fact, it says the opposite. And this idea of a rapture was just another 19th century false doctrine made up in the 1800s when everyone was interpreting scripture and cherry picking verses to create their own ideas.